This is Homeschool 101, a collaboration between ABS Television and the Ministry of Education. Stay attentive and attempt all activities. And now, today's lesson.
Are you ready?
A Homeschool 101.
Theater Arts Division. That's right.
All right, so today we're going to be looking at some elements of theater. And as is customary, as we looked at last week, we begin every theater class with a warm-up.
That's right.
Today's warm-up, we are going to play charades. Have you ever played charades before? Yes, good, beautiful. All right, for those of you who haven't, this is how charades works. There's a word that I need to communicate with you that you need to guess, but I'm not allowed to speak. I can't make sounds, so I have to use only actions. And you have, what, 30 seconds?
Less than 30 seconds. 10 seconds. 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
10 seconds today, just
you
in today's
have 10
game.
seconds to guess what element of theater I am portraying.
So are you going to start?
You want me to start?
You start.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
Go. Pay attention.
Can you guess?
Acting.
No.
The paper is a part of it?
Yes.
Okay. You're saying you're not supposed to talk.
You're making me talk.
Script. Script.
So one of the elements we're going to be looking at today is the script. Zarah's turn.
Okay, my turn.
Clown.
She is disrespectful.
Apologize. Performance. Actress. Wonderful actress. Soap opera. Over the top. Grammy? The show itself.
Yes.
The show
That's
itself.
right.
The product.
The product.
The product.
Your turn.
So let's see now. We got
Audience.
the audience.
Audience.
Very good. See, I'm good at this because you take too long to make me guess. Your turn.
My turn. Final one.
I'm in your. What that mean? Director? A happy director.
From the top.
Rehearsal?
Yes, which is part of the process. So on today's Homeschool 101, we are going to be looking at elements of theater, which are the script or the text or the stimulus. We are going to be looking at the process. This would involve the rehearsal process, of course. The product, the finished product, and
The audience.
we can't have a show without the audience.
All right? Nice. Did you get all 4 of them correct? Of course you did, because you're better at this than Zarah is.
So let's look at the first major step, your script or your stimulus.
Stimulus, what's that?
Well, if we're doing an improvisation, which is what? Who can tell me on Facebook Live right now what an improvisation is? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, tell them what an improv is.
I know, teacher.
Go ahead, student.
Improv is when you do better than you did the last time. So your teacher said that you improv.
I can't take it serious, you know?
What do you mean?
Improvisation.
No?
I can't take her serious, you know? Improvisation, as you performers should already know, is when you are given a stimulus. It could be an idiom with a local saying, like, who can hear will feel.
That's improv.
Right, one full
didn't say
basket.
that.
What old lady yime in there do before flying in there, catch what?
When you're done with saltfish, the middle with sardine, the
Right,
middle with the tail.
and you take those things or themes like
Or
anger
objects.
or objects or even songs or art, and you create a piece, or we might even use another theater term instead of create. You
Improvise.
or
Me.
begin with a D. Devise.
I was coming to that.
You devise a piece based on that stimulus.
All right.
And the important thing to remember here is offer and acceptance. That's a huge thing in theater, especially if you're doing improvisation, offer and acceptance. You are given an offer, the actor makes an offer.
You say yes.
Right. And you accept it and you continue the story, you push it along, even if it wasn't rehearsed, which is why it's always great to have students really strengthen their skills through improvisation.
Even the professionals use improvisation.
Oh, definitely.
To access, before you actually jump into a script, so that it's one of your entry points into developing character, understanding situation. It really breaks a lot of the thinking barrier that we go through, because in improvisation, in order to accept, you have to jump in. Yeah, and it frees you up to play creatively and to allow your impulses to come through. Should we do a demonstration?
Really quick. And we haven't rehearsed this, so this is full improvisation and an example, true example of offer and acceptance.
All right. What's the stimulus?
Shall we do a local saying?
Okay.
How about, let me give you an old one. See if y'all ever heard of this one. What fly men they do before old lady yai men they water. You ever heard that one?
That is before my time.
It was before your time?
I'm sorry, you older folks.
Well, it's older than me. Somebody's grandma told me. Anyway, what fly men they do
I wasn't around.
before old lady yai men water. I'll translate it. What were flies doing before old lady's eyes were watering?
But what do you mean?
Which is very good. You should always find out what it means, especially if you're doing it as an exam. And for those of you in 3rd and 4th, your improvisation practical is actually your first practical, and you may just get a local idiom.
Let me guess. Let me see. Before old lady's eyes were watering. So the eyes water now that they're old. So what was happening when they were younger? So
what was the fly?
What was the fly doing?
Right.
Back in the
Right.
in the back end days.
Before it happened. So basically, like electricity, for
What the
example.
fly coming in?
What would you have been doing before electricity was invented? You'd play games. You'd be outside. Maybe COVID. Before we had to be distant.
Jesus Christ.
What were you doing? You ready?
Well, you just pushed me out.
I'm just
I'm
for
back.
emphasis.
Thank you
All
for
right.
staying with us through that
Ready?
commercial
Okay.
break. And we are back.
We're going.
You offer, because me don't know what fly me they do before old lady I mean they water.
Berta, you hear about Marcus yesterday?
Listen, I keep telling y'all, stop talking about my man.
Wait, and a Tony, man? Oh, you know, he might be watching. Well, hear what?
Tony.
Me here, that Stacy tap check Marcus for go by Tony, but she know me her na man for text she.
Stacy, me they go by Marcus and Tony. For me man and them.
You know me really know that.
Oh, me supposed to know that.
You really didn't know that. And Stacy borrow your mother car for go by Marcus.
You lie, Clementine.
I don't lie. I am Clementine, like the morning sunshine. I don't lie.
Okay, I'll be back.
And of course, we would continue and flesh it out a bit more. And in the first exam, again, to the 3rd and 4th formers, your skit would be 3 to 5 minutes. But we come back.
I'm dealing with Marcus.
You're dealing with Marcus? Okay. So that's improv, but let's look at the script. The script is your basis. You can't develop your character if you don't know your character. And how do you get to know your character?
Text analysis.
Text analysis.
Students hate the word analysis, particularly theater arts students. Why? I find that most people believe that because you're doing theater arts, that they don't think you have to do any book work. So me can just jump up and me can just act. Miss, my kids will say, Miss, I act today. Miss, I want to act. Okay, get the book. Oh, no. No, we're not for that.
Yeah, but
Text
it's
analysis
so important, though.
is a very important part because it begins at the level of the script. All right, so today we're going to do a little bit of text analysis.
And before we jump into that, let's talk about given circumstances. I hope you're familiar with that term, given circumstances. So in your script, the given circumstances are those elements that you are given. You cannot change. So those would be things like your character's gender,
setting,
time, place.
If your character had any described illnesses,
right,
or physical disabilities,
right. So maybe the character has a hump.
The age,
right.
So you can't take a script where the character is 65 and play it like you're 20. You know, the given circumstances are what is supposed to ground the creative work that the actors will now build. Because if you think about it, right, theater arts is largely that.
Yes.
It's making, it operates at the highest level of the taxonomy, which is creation. But you have to ground what you are making in something. And you can consider your given circumstances as little clues, bits of information that the writer gives you throughout the text to help you as you build.
That's right. And when you're doing your script analysis now, you're going to end, especially if you are performing, you're going to end up reading the script more than one time. You have to.
Your Bible.
Yes. That's what we call it in theater, your Bible.
Your Bible.
You're taking it with you to church, home, to bathroom, everywhere. And the more you read, the more you get to know your character, and it helps you to make decisions in how you're going to play that character. You pay attention to what your character says. You pay attention to what other characters say about your character. You look at the relationship with the other characters. Because if we're playing
that exist.
Exactly, the conflicts. So if we're playing two characters who don't get along, we're not going to be bosomed up like this. And don't worry, viewers at home, we sprayed down with alcohol before we touched, right? So we are not going to be like this if we are enemies. Chances are we're going to be standing.
Can't stand your time.
Let's give us a given circumstance. We're in church.
Yes, Pastor, yes. Talk about them. Talk about them, so them behave. People, man. Amen. Amen.
All right. Hallelujah. You understand? Given circumstances, we are sisters who have not seen each other in forever, and oh my God,
my earring drop out.
Cut. You get the idea. All of this helps you to interpret your character and how you're going to play them. The given circumstances, the relationships, the subtext. That's an important one. The subtext is what is not clearly written, but is inferred. You can pick it up. So Becky gets sent off to boarding school. Stacy had to stay in Antigua and raise the other sibling. And Becky, okay. I go off to boarding school. Stacy has to stay in Antigua and raise the other siblings. Somebody might be jealous. It's not said in the script, but we can show it in the way we act. Hi, I just came back. Oh my God, everything is so beautiful.
Why are you talking like that?
What do you mean? Now that's not in the script, but we're acting it, and you can tell something is up between these sisters. They're not getting along. This one over here jealous because she I forgot I'm playing from business that mommy love me more.
I had to take care of the family while you went gallivanting.
Well, that is what happens when people look like you. That's subtext. And all of that is a fun part of script analysis. So when you hear script analysis, don't run. Remember the terms? Subtext. It is what is inferred, what is it suggested, what is underneath the spoken words, which are called what? The words in a script. They're
dialogue.
Called dialogue. We also gave you given circumstances. Those are the things that you were given, like
clues or bits of information embedded in the text.
Like set, time, age, gender.
Physical ability, disability.
Right.
Intellectual and social standing and those types of wonderful things. Okay, so let's get into it now. We're going to put an excerpt from a Caribbean classic.
Yes.
On the screen. Okay.
This is from Dennis Scott's Echo in the Bone. So we are playing Rachel and Bridget from Echo in the Bone. You should know this script, you should be familiar with it, and it's also one of the Caribbean plays that integrates wake, which is one of the cultural forms that is coming on this year's exam. Wake. Beautiful play showing how you can develop a play integrating one of our cultural art forms. So I am Rachel. Rachel is married to Crew, who is missing and he's been accused of murder. Bridget is one of her sons, well, both sons' love interests, but Bridget is actually married to Jacko now.
I only love one man. Please.
All right.
I think you would be glad. You knowing me a long time, Miss Rachel.
When you get tell son.
Jacko will make him know.
You have a right to make him know yourself.
Why is that? It don't have nothing between us, Miss Rachel.
Nothing? 3 months back, he was carrying stuff for you. The whole village see that. The whole village see that. And now this?
Sonny is your son too. You mean you don't know him?
Enough to know how hard this going to hit him.
Well, I don't break my promises. I can swear to that.
If is what you want, well, but you don't smell good to me and I don't have to pretend to that.
Why you set against Jacko?
Set against him is my son.
But it's not him you want me to marry, eh?
Answer me this, Bridget. You love him?
Yes.
I'm not talking Sonny.
I know who you're talking about. What you mean love? He offered to put a ring on my finger. The other one not even mentioned that. No. He quiet and kind to me. You ever see Sonny when he get vexed? Which one of them have more liking for the land? Jacko will settle down and raise his family, and your grandchildren will know where their father is all the time. What more you want? I'm not looking to raise no man's wild oats, Miss Rachel.
You take Jacko to bed yet?
You is a mother, but it's none of your damn business.
Excuse
Why you don't ask me the same thing about the other one?
Excuse me, child.
I'm not a girl anymore, Rachel. It's time for me to close the door on my own home. Even if it's a room in your husband's yard, till my man make his own place to keep me in. I see the other women, how the world take them and use them and throw them back in the cane piece, eh? Look, Lally.
Don't talk about Lally. She's my friend, madam, granddaughter, and she don't do nothing worse than the rest of you.
That is what I must content myself with. She's my friend too, but that is not the way I chose. Lally will say yes to any man that young and strong and ask her. Black or white. The field worker or the man passing through the village and stop to show himself on the bankside. But I born poor, you hear me? And black. And the only thing I have is my pride. That is what Jacko see. Even if he is quiet and soft talking. And if the owner of this estate should call me and say, lie down, girl. You don't have nothing to lose. It's the same thing I will tell him like I tell all the others. I don't have nothing to lose, but I have a right to answer no. Black people used to work this land for nothing, and they used to treat them like beasts. They could have mount them any time. I'm not breeding for any man just because of pleasure. He's not an animal. He's a human being.
There we go. Hey. Nice, lovely excerpt between Rachel and Bridget. And this is such an important part. So if we were to look at some of the given circumstances that we get from this dialogue.
Relationship.
So we know that 3 months prior to this moment, Bridget was checking son. Now remember, son and Jacko are brothers. So that is going to instruct us, or the actors, on how they need to behave around each other.
Yeah.
So you can already get the subtext.
And a possible rift between the brothers.
The brothers. We're going to look at how Rachel interacts with son as well as Jacko, because there's a little conflict here. And if you notice, Rachel, the mother,
she's taken
she
aside.
knows.
She's taken aside. She has an opinion,
Right.
albeit you look a fast, like Caribbean black people.
Can you imagine ask the girl if she
If
don't
me don't
take them to bed?
Be decent girl like me, you go ask something like that.
Right. We also know that Bridget is struggling with some issues there, but she gives us a lovely history for the reason for her decision. Obviously, she's more passionate about Sun.
Can I stick up in here? One of the important things of text analysis that I particularly draw for as an actress, as a teacher, is the characters' motivations, wants, and objectives. Everybody in this life wants something.
And note that term, character objective. Each character that comes on the stage, they want something.
They want something.
And that will help to inform.
How do we figure out
Yes.
what they want? How do they figure out what they want so
And
that
how
when
do
they
we
play it,
show it?
exactly. That is how you help to heighten what Zarah calls that subtext. All right? So from the excerpt, what does Rachel want?
Rachel wants her son, to be happy. She also would love to see Bridget make up her mind between the two.
I would go as far as to say, and okay, let's stick a pin. That's an objective, right? If an objective is what a character wants, what is a character's super objective?
That is what they ultimately want throughout the entire play.
No, from the super objective. So ultimately, I want to graduate high school and be done with this whole thing because COVID is messing up my life and I just need to just move on.
That's a
Day
super
to day,
objective.
I have smaller objectives that I must complete in order to get to my super objective.
Yes.
And all the objectives fall in line. It's kind of like a different tactic that you use to get to where you're going, but ultimately, you're going somewhere. I would go as far as to say that Rachel's super objective, which can also be seen in this moment, is that she wants peace.
Yes, definitely.
She wants peace.
And in this one, it's to get Bridget to make up her mind.
To make up her mind and bring
In
peace.
this moment.
Right.
And what we also get too is that while Bridget hints that there may be more passion there for Sun,
It's love.
Jacko
I love him.
offers stability. And in that lovely monologue that Nadia ended with, she gives us a historical and cultural context to why she's choosing stability over love. She doesn't want to have children all over the place. She wants one man who's going to come home to her and her children and build a life. Sun won't go town.
With
Right.
many women. All
That's right.
So there's a lot of fun to be gained from text analysis. Now the thing about this is that if we were to have read this boring, there's no way you would have gotten the meaning or the deeper meaning in the subtext from how we communicated it. It is important that even if you have acting aspirations, that language, literature, reading, words, expression is a part of what you love, because that is, your tools are your body and your voice, right? And if you're stumbling over simple words and you can't pick up deeper meaning out of text and communicate that in the way you express, then you're going to lose your audience.
And those of you, our younger audience members who haven't chosen your subjects for CXC yet, trust me, literature goes hand in hand with theater arts. It will help you, and it's also a criteria for admission at Edna Manley.
The Edna Manley. All right, where are we heading
So
next?
that's script. There's so much more we could do with script, but we're going through to another element, which is the process. This is so important, the process. And this is where everything from auditions to rehearsals take place. We're getting ready for the show.
Okay, so let me see if I can guess how this works, right? Because I'm an A-class actress. So I just show up on the set.
No.
Yes, and then I just tell the director, hi, listen, I'm here for this part. Can I have a script, please? And then I just go back into the costume room and they make me up, right? And then I come out and I just steal the show. Because
So you will never get a job like that here in other islands or in Hollywood. Directors, unless you're on the A list, and they have selected you, you have to go to an audition because the director.
I'm trying to say I'm not A-list material.
Because the director wants to see if you can play their part and do justice to their vision.
So what is the first step then? What am I supposed to do?
You listen out for the auditions. Now, the auditions can be an open call. Open call is when it is open to any and everybody. They want to see who is going to come, who's going to show up, and depending on what you're doing, who you are, they might be able to cast the entire show from that. Or it could be a specific audition where they're telling you that they're looking for people with country accents, they're looking for people from 30 to 50 or 50 and 60. If you can remember, actually, when they were casting for Wendy, which stars one of our Antiguan little shining stars, I can't remember his first name, Little Mac right there for Wendy.
For Peter Pan.
No, it's called Wendy. It was the Peter Pan story, but from Wendy's. It's actually pretty cool. It's actually a really, really cool take on it and somewhat modern. Okay. So one of our very own got cast in it, and for that, the audition was for little children. So he got cast from that. Then there was another call for adults, I would say 50 and up. And it was so cool. Watching the movie, I saw Claudia from, watching that, I saw Cutie from CNC, I saw Norris Morris Harris, and there were several other folks in there from Antigua and Barbuda, no, because they didn't call it. Oh. So you pay attention to that. If they like you, you then go to a callback. That's right.
I got that one right. I studied.
Now, there are different types of rehearsals. So you've made it through the audition, you got your call back, you've been cast. The first rehearsal is known as the orientation rehearsal. There, the director might discuss his director's concept. Do you know what that is?
It's where the director tells us about his concept.
Yep, his vision for the play, what he hopes the audience will get from it, what he wants you to bring with it, because we're all working together to create his vision. Don't forget, the director's vision is what you see on stage, right? After the orientation, and we may do warm-ups, or you may do a cold read. What is a cold read?
It's the first time the cast goes through the script together.
That's right.
Sitting. Sometimes it's called a table read as well, because you sit and you read it. You're not required to put in any blockings or any movement, but you're going through the script for analysis.
Yeah, and to get a feel of it. And also, cold read, you might be asked to do a cold read in an audition. Some auditions, you may have to come with a prepared piece. Some, they may ask you to do a cold read. Never seen it before.
Those are nerve-wracking.
And they're looking at your inflection. That's some vocal work right there. What is inflection?
When you get sick from COVID.
I just cannot with you, you know. You act too much, you know.
You cough, and then the doctor says, that sounds like you have an inflection.
Let's not go with the malapropisms here. Inflection in theater and for vocal work, it is how high and low you raise your voice. Like pitch. When you're reading to your little brother or cousin, for example, you're not going to read in the same tone. You're going to look at the words and you say, once upon a time, the dragon came over. And sometimes a cold read gives the casting director or the director a good idea of your natural ability to immediately analyze, translate it vocally, and it's what you bring to the script, right?
Yeah.
So the next one might be the next rehearsal might be a read-through. And that, as Nadia said, can also be what is known as a table reading, where we're reading the script, getting familiar with it. The director is probably now instructing you on the inflections he or she wants. They might have characters sit close to each other who will be interacting. So a table reading or a read-through, we're reading through the play. And this is important because it's also a way to help you learn your lines. Then after that, now we get into the fun part, the blocking. Oh, what is blocking?
Love me good blocking. Blockings is where the director begins to set out physically on the stage using stage directions, which we covered last week. Move actors' entrances, exits, movements, how they traverse the stage, so that there's no upstaging or masking, and so that the story is also told. Stories are told through movement, guys. Stories are not just told by words. Acting is not only words, it is action. All right, and so the blocking is where now you begin to. Zarah, I don't want you there. Could you say that a little bit more down center, please?
You want me to
Yes,
go? You want me to say the line and do
oh
it?
Oh my
or?
God, just go. Just down center.
I do not appreciate this.
Thank you. All
Was
right.
that good?
Yeah, that's good.
And you always should have your script in rehearsals with your pencil to mark your blockings, to make your notes, to any changes that could take place. And pop quiz from last week to see how much you were paying attention. Who is the one personnel besides you and the director that would be making a note of all the changes, all the blockings?
I wonder if they know. Oh, you want me to tell you?
Yes.
The stage manager.
That's right.
The stage manager has the prompt book, or what we call a production book, that makes a note of every blocking. Okay? What else we got?
And I'm going to throw another term at you here too. At this point, you should be off book. What does off book mean?
Without the book, without the script. So you should know your line.
Right? Then we have working rehearsals. So the blockings are done and we are literally working them, committing them to memory, physical memory, and we're smoothing out scenes that are troublesome. Like, for example, it might be a fight scene. You might need to work on a particular fight scene, make sure that we have it right, and don't be fooled.
You're not fighting?
No, we're not fighting because we didn't rehearse.
Okay.
Tune in another time for that one. But let me tell you, all the scenes that you see on a professional stage, the fight scenes, the intimacy scenes, and that could be from hugging to kissing, trust exercises are done first for both combat and intimacy scenes, and we work on it so the actors are comfortable and safe. Safety is always important in theater. So a fight just doesn't happen on stage just like that, because that wasn't rehearsed. No, I'm not comfortable. Director.
You know.
No, I'm gonna call my actors union. No, you didn't ask me permission to touch me.
In the scene.
But you did not ask me permission to touch me. But you needed to ask me permission to touch me, which is also important. You always should be comfortable, and you should always ask permission to touch before you actually touch the person. This empowers them and it builds the trust. Definitely does. And a run through, that's another type of rehearsal. With a run through, nobody's running, but we are going to play from the top to the bottom without any
Interestingly enough,
stops.
your first run through is generally referred to as a stumble through, because it's difficult to remember every single thing. And so the directors understand that the first time that you're taking it top to bottom, they're going to be some, we call them buffer shuffles.
Yeah.
We call it a stumble through, which is okay.
But you don't stop at all. And notes, that's another theater term, notes are given at the end of a run through. Instead of between in the moment while you be doing your blocking or your working, and run through, your notes are at the end. And the notes are what?
The feedback
That's
that
right.
the director gives to the actors so that they can come better, fix certain things that they did well, things that need some work for the next rehearsal.
Another rehearsal you might have is a polishing rehearsal, and it sounds exactly It is exactly as it sounds. We're now tweaking and getting everything as perfect as it can be. Then we're going to have a technical rehearsal. And there are two types that you need to remember.
We got the wet tech and we got the dry tech.
The dry tech is when no actors are there. It is the director, stage manager, your light crew, which could be the light designer and light operator, your sound people, your sound designer and sound operator, and any other technical staff. And they are rigging the lights, setting them, positioning things, and we're running through the scripts with all the technical.
We call it a cue to cue.
That's right, cue to cue.
So that they can set whatever they need to set and cue whatever they need to, and they will have their cue sheet as well that will tell them when these particular lights and effects and so.
So don't forget that. Wet tech, dry tech is with the technical team, the director, the stage manager, and we're running cue to cues. Then we have a wet tech.
Oh, what's that?
This is where the actors are present, and they're really there to make sure that the cues run exactly how they are supposed to be with the actors on stage now. So dry, no actors. Wet, the actors are present. And final rehearsal
Is what we call your dress/tech rehearsal. Full costume with full lights, everybody. It's almost as if it's shoddy. At Edna Manley, where I'm from, can say from, we do it, we call it, well, I studied, we call the dress tech, we call it an open dress because it's supposed to be so close to ready that an audience should be allowed to come in and watch. So the first show, we normally start running from a Friday. The Thursday night, when you have your dress tech, people get to come and watch for free. And it's like a tryout for the show to come tomorrow. All right?
And please bear in mind what we're saying. Unfortunately, for now, in Antigua, some of the venues that we have, the tech rehearsal ends up being the dress rehearsal, because if you want extra time, you have to pay for the extra days.
Yes, that's true.
And it can be a grueling experience, but your exam is gonna ask you questions like if you have the budget, okay? So dry tech, wet tech, then your dress rehearsal. So that's the process.
And then it is showtime.
Coming to the product now, the night of the show, and I'm gonna ask you this again, quiz from last week. Who gets fired the night of the show? The day of the show, this person's job is done.
You want me to tell you? I feel like you're using me. The director turns the show over to the stage manager, and so he no longer serves a purpose.
Yeah, the director's job is done.
Once the show begins to run.
And the stage manager is in charge now of the product. And when we look at product, we can look at, in addition, of course, to the show, we can look at things like the playbill, which is another name for the programs that you get. We can look at the tickets, getting ready for the box office, which is where you would get your tickets. And I mean, we're advanced now, so we have online platforms to purchase tickets like ticketing.com, right? Which is really great.
We're fancy.
Then we are looking now at the most important aspect of a show. The audience. And with the audience, yay, Radine William Blake. I love this picture. The audience. Who are the personnel that would deal with the audience? And go.
Everybody in the front of our staff, to include the ushers from the box office, from the very front. You have the front of house manager who's responsible for the entire team, the ushers, the ticketing personnel, the people who clean, generally the ushers do clean out the auditorium, the people who seat audience members, the little people with a little flashlight that shine on the ground so you don't fall down. Everything front of house is audience related.
That's correct.
How much points I get?
1, good girl. And for the audience, safety is of course important. And I'm sure you've been to a few shows where you've heard some announcements. Now, we're gonna talk just a little bit about audience etiquette here.
What's that?
Audience etiquette, it's the way the audience should behave during a performance.
Oh, you mean like here when they see a play and they hoot and holler like, yeah, go girl, that's my friend, go Becky, I love you, woo!
Or lines are running. And go ahead, do some lines, just do some lines. And you hear that one obnoxious person.
I really can't believe that after all I've done for you. This is how you treat me.
I saw you for do you. We've been to places like that. People who are doing that, who are guilty of it, I need to tap. That's not proper audience etiquette. And trust me, in professional theaters around the world, they could actually remove you.
Yes.
Right.
It's true. Y'all must behave better.
And
I was in this scene once, and to me the actress handled it so beautifully. So my mother's killing me with licks, right? And the neighbor comes out to save me, so me hide behind the neighbor. And My mother goes into this whole monologue now, lighting and so change. So you know that the mood different because that red light come on. And my mother is doing this monologue about how her mother did the same thing to her. And you know, she's going in and when I was this, and somebody in the whole front row and the left side of the audience is dead with laugh. And it's Melissa, you know, Melissa, Melissa says she's doing this, so let's say a line says, and can you imagine that at the age of 13, so do the Jacqueline, the heckling. At the age of 13, my mother, so and so, and I can't believe. Shut up! Ooh. And I can't believe that. And this is me behind the neighbor.
Dying with laugh, right? Breaking character. Breaking character. And don't forget that term. That is when the actor comes out of character, which they should not do.
But
nobody
could see me, so it's okay.
Right.
All right.
So here is a little video and some tips for the audience.
How to behave yourselves.
Yes.
So that we can take you places.
That's right. And just two quick notes with the flash photography. Sometimes you might have complicated choreography or action scenes, and the flash could distract the actors, and it could be potentially dangerous to them, and someone could get hurt. In addition to that, we have copyright, intellectual property, from the playwright to the director to the actors.
Definitely.
So you should not record unless they give you permission to. You should not be recording during a show at all.
It's very rude.
That's right. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you learned some really great terms that may show up on the exam. And the next time that you're at a play in Antigua,
Remember how to behave, yeah? Be good.
right? Next time on Homeschool, we will look at the cultural art forms that you are to prepare.
Oh,
Wake,
I'm excited.
Carnival, and Landship. See you next time.
You've been watching Homeschool 101, a partnership between ABS Television and the Ministry of Education. Thank you for viewing this lesson. Join us again next time.